What's up, guys? It's your girl, Phoenix Novell, and I want to thank you for tuning into another episode of The Right Hustle. And this episode is called Co-Writing the Book, How to Make and Break a Relationship. I wrote How to Make and Break a Relationship with a friend of mine, Kristina Bielichenko. I met her when I was on a gig performing overseas, and we hit it off right away. She's a fire sign like me. I'm a Sag. She's an Aries. And first off, I want to say I've written several books by myself, and it came a point in time where I wanted to start collaborating because I knew that collaborating would help me learn more, and expand my knowledge and my understanding of things and other people's perspectives, as well as bring more to the table for people who read my books, my audience. And I had written several books about what I do. I am a musician who travels the world. Those of you who know that, and those of you who don't, that's what I do. I love to do it. I sing, I rap, I'm a DJ, I'm a producer, all the above. And I've been blessed enough to travel the world and to share my talent with people from all walks of life. It's still amazing because I'm still doing it. But I've written several books by myself. And so I just got this itch at one point to start collaborating. And not everybody follows through. Some people, they like the idea, but when you actually have to put in the work and you actually have to do the research or, put that shit down on paper and make it make sense and execute, not a lot of people were interested past the inspirational fun part of it all. Kristina didn't hesitate, and she was like knocking them out. And the way that I collaborate is I don't ride people. I'm not all in their face telling them how to do their part. I make it clear that we have an idea of where we're going. And for How to Make and Break a Relationship, we focused on trying to come from two different perspectives, but also kind of like share exactly what our experiences were like in similar situations. How to Make and Break a Relationship focuses on how to break a relationship and how to make a relationship. And so we divided it like, all right, well, you do one chapter on this and you do one chapter on this and talk about your experience in both situations. And we didn't collaborate in a sense where we shared our ideas with each other initially. The way I collaborate is I let you write your experiences. I don't micromanage. I don't tell you what to do. We just have to be on the same page because it's going to be one book at the end of the day. So Kristina wrote chapters about how to make a relationship and then how to break a relationship. And I did the same thing. And then we wrote bonus chapters about intimacy, and stuff like that. And it was really cool because, like I said, I've tried this collaborating idea with other people who I knew who were interested in writing books. Now, none of them had written a book before, and maybe that was probably why it was like, all right, the novelty wore off, the idea, the fun part wore off, and then it was just like, all right, well, I need this from you by this time. Can you make sure you have this to me by this time? And it just like, it didn't materialize. So I was really excited to get Kristina's chapters because Kristina has been in a long-term relationship for, and it's really awesome to hear about it because I have never really done well in long-term relationships. Probably because I naturally am a free-spirited, independent person. That's my default. So anything that kind of even comes close to stifle that creates a tension within me. So learning about how she was able to maintain long distance relationships long term was really intriguing, and it really taught me how true it is that when you want something to work, you put the work in to make it work, right? You don't look at the reasons why it can't be successful. You you accentuate all the good things. You build them up, you praise them, you emphasize them because you want it to happen. And how to make and break a relationship, it was inspiring to me because it taught me how to be a better person by doing the work within myself so that I do not sabotage myself and, create reasons for the other person to leave. And even though I do like being a free-spirited person, I do like being in a relationship sometimes. I want to be in the right one. But sometimes when you're so used to being alone, you'll look for any reason at all, to get out of that thing. But the process was really easy when you're collaborating with somebody who wants to see it through and who's excited about the project as well. Some people, they're not confident enough to put their ideas down and to share them. Some people don't think that what they have to say is worth reading or listening to. I've never been that kind of person. And luckily, Kristina wasn't either. She wasn't afraid to share her personal experiences and those of others, those of her friends and people who she knew, with the world to teach them how to, have better relationships. And I wasn't either, because I know that I like to read a lot myself, and I learn so much by reading and taking in other people's mistakes or their triumphs. How can I fix this part, or what did I do wrong here, or how can I not make that mistake again? And the process was really simple. She gave me her chapters and I put them together, and I did the editing myself, which was really cool because I was able to just make it better. I kept her language the way it is. I didn't want to change her style of speaking or her voice or her words, but I made it so that it was cohesive because we were both writing chapters. We were both writing from some of the same subjects, right? So I made it clear when I started the conversation and when she ended her conversation, but it was still cohesive, like an easy read. And that was really important for me because it was coming from two females' perspectives, talking about the same thing, if you will. And once I edited, I sent it back to her. She read through and let me know what she liked, and we pieced it together, and then we put it out to the world. But again, I've did this with other people, and I was really, me as a writer, I like to write with people, especially when I know that they have something different to say than I do, especially if they have something more to bring to the table. Like I said, I have been a serial, single, independent woman for so long. So Kristina coming to the table, showing how she's made a long-term, long-distance relationship work successfully was a breath of fresh air, because if I just come with my perspective all the time about, okay, yeah, this is what I did wrong, this is what I did right, it kind of gets monotonous. And I wanted to give the readers the opportunity to see ways in which I've sabotaged myself, ways in which I've helped myself, and what I've learned in those periods of independent, single life, but also how partnerships can survive and the ways that they can thrive if you put the time into them, with Kristina's perspective on long-term relationships that also happen to be long distance. Some people, they are afraid of long distance relationships. They don't know how to make them work. Kristina shows you how she's made hers work. Also, how investing in each other, how important the quality time is when you do get a chance to see each other, how small the issues that you have become when you don't spend so much time together because you miss that person so much. So you don't harper on stupid shit. You don't blow stuff out of proportion when you know that your time with that person is limited. That's a very important key of a long distance relationship, because when you're not in each other's space all the time, you have less to complain about, right? And so when you do get to share time with each other, you appreciate that and value it more. Sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder. Sometimes, when you're around a person too much, any little thing can set you off, And so I think those were really the cool things about my collaboration with Kristina. And I'm really interested to write a book with a guy about relationships, because I know that there's completely different perspectives that I want to bring to the table for my audience, but I don't want to write with the wrong person or try to push it. Like I said, I want it to be organic, and I want the writer who I collaborate with to have that same drive and have that same desire to see it through. And that's the most important thing, because not everybody who I write with has ever written a book before. Some who are interested have, some who are interested have not. And so the style of writer that I am, I give artists freedom. I give writers freedom to share the idea. I don't tell them how to write. I go through the editing process to make sure it's an easy flow and flows well, and the grammar and everything is good. But the last thing I want to do ever is to control the words that are coming out of my co-writer's head and mind and experience, because that's not a collaboration to me. That's me dictating, and that's not how I wanted to do it. So if you guys are interested in checking out how to make and break a relationship, it's available exclusively on my website at the time. At some point, it's going to be available on other platforms, but right now, exclusively on my website at www.phoenixnobel.com. Once again, written by myself and Kristina Bielichenko, how to make and break a relationship. Thanks for tuning in, guys, to this episode of The Right Hustle. And until next time, peace.